The Premier League, it's always interesting, but as a Premier League commentator and off the ball, myself and Nathan are a little fearful that we're already in a position where we're close to writing off the Premier League title race. How impressive have Manchester City been? They've only dropped a couple of points and they just seem to be going from strength to strength. Would you have a similar fear?
Well, it's early days. I'd always be very cautious, Dave. You know, we've seen teams before, not very many, do what. Remember Manchester United doing it with Newcastle years ago? I think Newcastle were at 9, 10, 11 points
15.
15 points in front, in the pit. So anything can happen. Now, at the moment, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't bet against Manchester City doing it because they're playing extremely well. But it's early days and it can be fragile. I would certainly definitely make them favourites like everybody else because the other teams are not really competing with them.
That's the worry, isn't it? They do seem to be a good deal ahead, distant ahead of the rest.
Exactly. Well, look at Manchester United, for it'll I mean, most people thought well, it'd be between Manchester United and Manchester City, and it still looks that way. But Manchester United not doing their stuff, and then they've had 2 examinations there. One at Anfield, I thought they lost that, they failed badly in that examination, and certainly at Chelsea, I thought Chelsea were by far the better team last week. So I'd say it's a worry for Mourinho. Actually, he looks a bit worried to me. He doesn't look right. The sounds about Paris Saint-Germain from different sources, you wouldn't know what's going on. But he doesn't look a happy camper. I think he sees City doing what they're doing, and United not doing what they should be doing.
We had that game live and off the ball last Sunday. Kenny Cunningham was in Cocon with me, and he put a lot of it on the absence of Paul Pogba. And this is a player that didn't certainly light up the Premier League season in the last campaign, and maybe he's becoming a better player with every week that he's not there.
Exactly. That happens in football.
Yeah.
When the longer I had the thing with someone, I was at Leeds for a few years, wasn't playing particularly well, I was getting the right stick from a bit of stick from the crowd, a bit of criticism. And I got an injury. I was out for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. And I became a better and better player by the time... I was a great player by the time the 6 weeks were up. Now, I wouldn't agree with Kenny on that. I mean, where is the evidence of Pogba doing what he's being missed for? He didn't play well last year. Pogba, I don't think influences the game as much as he should. I don't think he's any real positional sense. He's very good on the ball. He can score spectacular goals. He can do spectacular passes. But he's never going to direct a game.
And I think it was that spark that Kenny felt they were lacking, because it was a midfield of Herrera.
But it's more than a spark, Dave. You see, it's not. I don't think it's a spark. It's genuine play. I don't think Herrera is good enough. Matic is brilliant. I thought he was very, very good last week. He's the only one in there, right? He is a real midfield player. I've never seen Pogba as the midfield player. He'll score spectacular goals. He'll do certain things, but I don't think he's the one that's responsible. His absence is responsible for Manchester United playing the way they're playing.
I guess we'll find out, won't we? If things do change when he's
spectacular. Fit. He's spectacular, Pogba. But look at Pogba all last year. He didn't really do it. This season, he hasn't. He scores a few goals, and he's a talented guy. But if you talk about, very few people talk actual positional sense. I don't think Pogba has any positional sense. When the ball comes to him, he does his stuff, but he doesn't make the ball come to him. That's my take on it. I think a lot, and it's going to be said, Pogba's not there, he's missed for doing. I don't believe that. I wouldn't agree with Kenny on that. I mean, that's Kenny's opinion, that's fair enough, but I wouldn't agree with that.
Since Mourinho has come in, they've spent over 300 million.
Yeah.
And yet, when they need a goal, when they're chasing the game, the last 20 minutes last Sunday are just get the ball down and pump it forward tomorrow, Fellaini. And you're watching the most limited, lacking in ideas, lacking creativity football team that anywhere in the Premier League, given the riches and the money that they spent. It was quite flabbergasting to watch that last 25 minutes last Sunday.
Wasn't the first time he's done it. You know, this is the contradiction in Mourinho. He's done that a lot when they've gone behind. Now, this is the complete opposite of what Ferguson used to do. What Ferguson was great at, and they called it, the Fergie time, because he encouraged the players to keep doing what was the right thing to do, regardless of what stage of the match is, and that was going into overtime. And it takes a bit of nerve to do it. It's easy to put somebody on like Fellaini and knock it up there, and it has worked at times for him. But I don't think it's a good thing generally. But Mourinho's been a great coach. He's won an awful lot of things. But I think his approach at Liverpool, I think, was totally wrong. What he did, he won against Spurs. But I thought Chelsea were by far the better team. Herrera, I don't think is going to do it for him. Mkhitaryan, I don't think is going to really do it for him. Lukaku needs people doing a lot for him before he gets into his... And it's not there. Now, I don't think Pogba is going to make that much different when he comes back. And Matt is not in the team, you see. Matt is a creative player, and surprisingly, he's not.
There's talk of him heading away from the club in January as well, like one of the most creative players they have at the club, and one that actually does do it for them.
It does, yeah. I can't understand that. I mean, he scores goals, he gets a few goals, he gets on the ball. I think he's far better than Herrera. Matic has been very, very good for them. But all round, I don't think they have it all round, Manchester United, and that's why City is a huge contrast to them. Now, what we're talking about now at City is, are they going to maintain that? I think they will, but it's very, very, very early days yet. There's a long, long way to go yet. But I can't see anybody at the moment challenging them in the way that they should be challenging them.